Well, some kind of sickness got me, but that's not going to stop me from having a big year with my podcast. So here we go, dropping another episode. First, I want to talk a little bit about women's sports and how much I enjoy them, but I haven't watched a lot of games in the full extent, So I guess I was part of that bandwagon that kind of hopped on a couple years ago when Caitlin Clark got into the league. I didn't really know too many other players, but now I can name Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese. I love the WNBA and all the talent that it has. There's a lot of skill, and it's sad to see men downing women's sports because it's not, I guess, like as high flying as men's sports sometimes. Because men, in the historical sense, have been outside, been active, been protecting the home, been going to war, been in the factories, been on the streets doing the shit jobs. Women have been at home. They weren't allowed to leave the home, but they've just were commanded to stay at home and not really do anything but keep the home safe or clean and prepare the food and take care of the kids. That was in American culture, at least as far back as it goes, what women were supposed to be doing. Up until like women's rights and like, modern movement and shit like that, where women are going in the workplace and in sports and everywhere that you can find men for the most part. Not really at the same level yet, though. So that's where that difference comes into play, because men been doing this basketball thing for a long time. So if you place like LeBron James against Caitlin Clark, it's not like, it's just silly to think about. Or if you place, the best big, Angel Reese against against like Giannis or something. Like, what the fuck? But I love women's sports, and I think the ultimate goal, right, is to get to a place where women and men are competing at the same level in the same league. So where it's tough, like, to say if one wants to, they should be able to play in the other league, like, because then you're gonna have guys complaining they can't go from the NBA to the WNBA, or like males playing in the WNBA while women from the WNBA are able to play in the NBA. So it needs to be, because that's just gonna happen, some balance there. But I would love to see a point where women are able to play in the NBA alongside the men, and there isn't some perverted harassment going on, which may or may not happen if that goes into effect. But just being able to see men and women play alongside each other, like you do in the street. If there's a woman around, you don't go, no, go play with the chicks, unless you're just a raging sexist. No, you let the women play. Maybe you don't pass it to them as much, but you let the women play. I always let the women play when I'm playing ball. It's silly. Like, guys have their girlfriends, their lady friends, and if they want to play, they should be able to. Especially if they're halfway decent. Because I hate playing with like really shitty people if I'm playing a competitive game, but it's a different conversation. Yeah, I love women being able to play alongside men, and the same would go for football. There isn't a WNFL, but I know there's plenty of women that want to play in the NFL too. I don't feel pressured into watching women's games, but I do feel a little bit of innate sexism not wanting to watch those games as much as, like, if I'm watching an Indiana game, I'd rather watch the Indiana Pacers than the Fever. It's the WNBA team. I do feel a little bit of that. I'm also a heterosexual, so I'm into women sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. I really appreciate women for being what they are. So I really want to uplift women and watch their games and stuff like that. Not that it's going to make a big difference, me being on my couch at home just watching a WNBA game versus a Pacers game. But, it's I still like the Sabrina Ionescu's. Like, I wanted those shoes and I almost got them. They just were out of my size. But I really like the WNBA and women's sports, women's tennis. This conversation was kind of inspired by, it was, I think, an older interview, but Serena Williams saying that some leader in the men's tennis division would crush her, you know, very quickly and easily.
For me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour.
And that's what kind of got me to think about this more. Like, where do I stand on men and women's sports? And generally, I support both, but I would like to see a single league where men and women can play eventually, if equality is the idea, or if competition, because you can't say that Caitlin Clark, you know, is not as good a shooter as like Steph Curry unless you like are able to play him head to head, and like same with the bigs, and same with, you know, like passers and rebounders and all that stuff too. Unless you put them head to head, you're not really gonna know. So that's kind of where I stand on women's sports. The other unrelated topic I wanted to touch on is I'm going to be doing a lot more dancing this year. I blew up off dancing, right? Why haven't I been dancing? Well, when you rip someone off and steal everything from them, and basically enslave them like you people did to me, Wisconsin, the fascist state of Wisconsin and the fascist city of Madison, I don't really feel like dancing. It's not really, I don't feel like making happy music or dancing. I feel like killing myself. That's what you people do. But I don't feel like killing myself, because then you people are going to try to get me arrested or 5150'd again, and that's what you do. So no, I don't feel like killing myself, but I do feel like dancing more. I want to put together some videos of just like trending songs and stuff like that, and I haven't really done it. And I'm a much better dancer than most of the people I see on TikTok and Instagram and shit like that anyway. Have more rhythm and more originality. So I think I'm going to try it out. Maybe do some more dancing. I really love it. It puts me in a good mood. Gets me out there, out in the world. If I'm not doing it in my apartment, which I plan to like go outside and dance. Really just kind of like be more in tune with the city. And there are a lot of dancers in Milwaukee. There's a Milwaukee style of dancing, which I want to get better at. And not this either. Not this. That's like, that's an African dance that was basically just taken and used by Big Frank and all those, that whole crew. It's just fine. Like, you get inspiration from wherever and you use it, but I don't think a lot of people know that that's a straight up dance taken from Africa. And so I would like to get more in tune with this Milwaukee style of dancing. And then also the trending dances. I like to get involved with that stuff too, just because, I don't know, it's something to do. And I don't really have a video person, so I'm going to have to like shoot myself doing this stuff. Maybe I'll do some of my own music. Just kind of thinking that through. Not to tell you everything I'm going to be doing, but yeah, think about dancing some more.